Hello everyone, I'm back, and in this clip I'm going to show you how to sext a female and male tortoise. Now, generally when they're all born, they all look female, and then eventually, you either see the signs based on their shells or their anatomy if they're boys and girls, or if they actually just show you, like a boy tortoise will flash you, or a girl tortoise will lay eggs. And girl tortoises can actually lay eggs, kind of like chickens, where they don't require a male to lay eggs. They'll be infertile. However, if they do get with a male, they can have fertile eggs. And even after you separate them, they can actually hold sperm for up to 5 years, which means that even if they're not around the male, but because they were with one, they can still lay fertile eggs. They lay generally about over 20 eggs per clutch, and they can lay several clutches a year. So you can imagine how many babies that is on the sulcata. And my belief is that they lay so many because a lot of them don't survive, out in the wild. So, they have to increase the odds of continuing on the sulcata legacy or whatever. But so I personally am against breeding because there's already so many in the pet trade, and that they people get these little tiny cute little ones that fit in the palm of your hand, and they stick them in like a 40-gallon glass aquarium without the proper stuff, and then they live like a horrible life. Or once they start getting bigger and they can no longer accommodate them, with where their enclosures or setups, then they have to rehome them or get rid of them. Or they get one not thinking about, like, oh, well, I live in a super cold climate, and I have no way of keeping them warm in the winter. So then they get rid of them. And yeah, they're a lot of them just aren't prepared for these, like, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 pound wrecking balls that need a lot of space to roam and stuff. They also like to live alone. They are solitary. They don't need friends. They don't like friends. They can actually bully each other. Males do fight a lot over territory. They're very territorial. So many people will get two thinking, oh, they can grow up with friends or stuff like that, and then end up with one bullying the other, having to separate them, having to rehome one. It's just, one growing faster than the other. And I actually had that situation myself when I wasn't as knowledgeable when I got my first two babies. And that's my little girl that's in the greenhouse. She's actually born the same time as my other big girl, but she got bullied a little bit. I'll show you the difference on another video regarding like signs of bullying and pyramiding and stuff. But today we're on the topic of sexing. So people say that you can generally have females if you incubate the eggs at a warmer temperature. There's some proof to that, some not. I'm not sure. And even with that, I don't think it's super reliable. It's kind of just a guessing game whenever you get a baby tortoise. It's another reason why only one's recommended, because if you end up with a male and female, you're gonna have tons of babies. If you end up with two males, you're gonna have like fighting to the death. And sometimes two females can get along together, but sometimes they fight as well. So anyways, sexing. So the different theories are that either A, they need to reach sexual maturity. Some people say it by age, like say 5 years old or something like that. I've seen so many different things. So some say it's by age, some say it's by size, the size of like a dinner plate. They have to be at least that size in order to be able to tell if they're male or female. But I've heard of 3-year-olds flashing their junk and obviously telling their owner that they're males, and being a lot smaller than dinner plates. So again, because they grow at different rates, you never know. Sexual maturity can reach, at different ages as well. So to know the sexting, it's still really hard until they have like the distinct features. And so let me show you here. I have this this lady here, how I know that she's a lady is that she's big, and or big enough according to whatever people say, and she's supposedly old enough. They say she's 5 years old when I rescued her, but honestly, to tell you the truth, you will never know the age of a true sulcata unless you know their exact hatch date. And that's the only reason why I know the exact ages of my 2 girls, because I got them when they hatched. So this one is supposedly 5 years old. I don't know, because I don't know her hatch date. That's just what I was told. So if you look underneath here, females, these right here, like I told you yesterday, were guller scoots. These are a lot smaller in females. It's what they use to fight and flip. I will show you Clyde's and the difference. Although there's a big size difference between her and Clyde, the general, anatomies on checking the difference is pretty much the same. So if you look here too, see her shell right here is pretty flat. You can see it just runs flat like that. Females have flat plastrons and small guller scoots. And the last thing here is, if you look closely here, they're anal scoots. Females tend to go more like a U, and these 2 scoots are kind of closer together, and it's more like a U, and that allows for reproducing and egg passing and stuff like that. And I don't think you can see, but she, let's see, I don't think she could get her tail. Oh, maybe I can do it on the other one. She has it pretty tucked far in there. Let's see you. I'm sorry to interrupt your eating. But it's hard to tell because they got it kind of tucked in there. But a female also has a little tiny short tail. It's kind of like little fat, and then it kind of goes narrow to a tip, but it's like short, very, very short. And that's a female tail. Now, if I can get Clyde away from his food, I'll show you the characteristics of a male and how they differ. Okay, I'm sorry, don't hiss at me. Okay. So, Clyde here. The difference, okay. So, you see these right here? Those are his guller scoots. You can see they're a lot bigger and a lot more prominent in him. They use these to ram, so they'll ram into your leg, they'll ram into other tortoises, they'll ram, try and get into the soft skin in here of the other tortoises to hurt them. They'll also use them to help to flip the other tortoises onto their back when they're fighting each other. Like I said about the flat part, if you can see angle wise here, you can see this kind of curves right here. So he has a curved, trying to do here so the angles, but he has a curved belly. And males have curved bellies to allow them to mount the females during reproduction. And last, let's see if I can do this here. If you look at his anal scoots, remember how the other ones were like a U, and these 2 spikes were kind of close together, and it formed like a U. Males are kind of more like a V and spread out. So you can see they kind of point out to the side, and they're like a V. So that's another way to determine male anatomy. Also, you can't really see here. It's hard to tell their tails in this video, but they have long, thick tails, and they curve them to the side. But yeah, so that's another way to tell male. Okay, go back to eat. Oh my God, you're sweaty. Okay, so those are some of the key identifiers to having a male and female. Other than that, the 100% way to tell is if she starts laying eggs or if he kind of flashes you, and then you'll know for sure. And male tortoises, when they start flashing, they are pretty much like little teenagers, and they'll flash you all the time, and they'll pretty much mate with anything. So if you have a female with him, he'll constantly harass her. So the best thing to do is to kind of leave like a deflated soccer ball or basketball for them to use. Some people have a statue of a tortoise and they'll use that, but they'll go with they'll do anything. They'll do like cement steps, blocks, they'll try and hump or whatever you want to call it, anything. So that is the basic, oh, I'm all dirty. That is the basic anatomy of a male and female and how to tell them apart. Again, they all look female when they're born until their characteristics start developing, and it's still kind of out there as to whether it's based on size, whether it's based on maturity and age. I don't know. You just kind of have to know. So technically, my 3-year-old may still develop into a male. I don't know, but at this point, I think she's pretty much female, as well as the other one. So yeah, and that's it for today. I'll post another video on cohabitation and pyramiding and that type of stuff. So thank you for joining. Bye bye.